I didn't realize how much people hated the Nintendo Switch 2's game keycards. I'm honestly indifferent, but apparently that puts me in the minority. I think game keycards have some pros over straight digital, and of course there are some cons compared to traditional physical. So today we're gonna have a civilized discussion about both sides, and then see what the toxic internet streets are saying. Let's start with the basics. Nintendo's game keycards are kind of like a middle ground between physical and digital games. You get a small physical card you can buy in stores, but the game itself is downloaded digitally. It sounds convenient, but it's also sparked a lot of debate. First, the positives. You can actually exchange ownership. Unlike digital games, these cards can be traded, sold, or borrowed just like regular cartridges. That's a solid win for collectors and families who share games. They also give developers an option for physicality when a game's too large for a cartridge. Think Final Fantasy VII Remake type file sizes. Instead of forcing everyone to go out digital, at least you have something you can hold, gift, or display on your shelf. And once you've downloaded the game, you don't need an internet connection to play. No license checks or no always online nonsense. You install it once, pop in the card, and you're good to go, fully offline. Now let's talk about the downsides, and yeah, there are a few. You will need an internet connection at least once to download the game, but honestly, it's 2025. Over 93% of US homes already have internet, and if you've spent $400 on a gaming consoles without internet, maybe your priorities need a bit of adjusting. Then there's the e-waste argument. People say these cards are worse for the environment since they don't actually contain the full game, but let's be real. If you're worried about e-waste, you probably wouldn't be buying physical games at all. This problem isn't unique to keycards, it applies to all physical media. A bigger concern is that if your console or cards are lost or damaged, you're out of luck. You'll have to rebuy everything. With digital games, at least your purchases are tied to your Nintendo account. There's also the perceived less physical value. You're paying full price for what looks like a physical copy, but is really just a glorified download license. For game preservationists, this is a nightmare. It's just not something you can archive or preserve long term. And then there's storage and speed. If you got slow internet or limited space, downloading a massive game can ruin the plug and play feel we all love about Nintendo. Plus, who knows how long Nintendo servers will stay up to re-download these games in the future. So yeah, game key cards aren't the end of the world, but they're not the perfect solution either. They're a weird in-between that gives physical players something to hold on to while keeping Nintendo's digital future in mind. It's not the hero we asked for, but it's not the villain people make it out to be either. And speaking of people, oh boy, the internet has opinions. Let's take a look and see what the fine folks online are saying, because if you scroll through Twitter for even a second, you think Nintendo punched somebody's mama. And now it's time for my favorite part of these videos, where we get to see what people are actually saying online, and it's always hilarious, because what are y'all talking about? The NCS Master says, it's beating a dead horse, but I can't overstate how much keycards just kneecap my excitement for a lot of Switch 2 releases. These things just flat out suck. No major benefit for digital gamers, and cut off nearly all positives for physical gamers. I totally see where they're coming from, and I agree with this to an extent. Personally, game key cards do not suck the excitement out of new games for me. It just doesn't. Mainly because I primarily play digital. Like, I have some physical games in here, but none of them are Switch 2 games. And I think my prized possession out of the bunch would be the Mega Man Legacy Collection. I really love these games. It's really cool. I have them back on like a physical cartridge. But I don't typically buy games physically unless they are super important to me. And even then, like, if this is a game key card, I wouldn't care. But also, as someone who enjoys physical games, I see where they're coming from. There are no major benefits for digital gamers because digital gamers didn't really care about the physical benefits anyway, and there just really aren't that many positives for pure physical gamers. Pink Furry says, Nintendo thinks that we're confused about how to use game key cards. That's not the issue most people have with them. Most just don't want them or like them. Again, I totally see where they're coming from, and I think a lot of the times we as people who don't care about the game key cards are just telling them that they're selling well regardless, but that's not what Pink Furry is saying. Pink Furry is saying that most people who don't want them or just don't like them, and for that particular demographic, they would prefer something like a physical all-on-card option, even though the average consumer does not care either way. Can I play this game on the $400 device I bought? Yes or no. That's pretty much it. I do like what Wolfstar Sonic said, which is $70 for a game key card. If it was $59, all right, but $70, no thank you. I feel that. I also feel like game key cards should be a little bit less expensive. I understand that the price comes from manufacturing the actual card, but I think all digital games should be cheaper than their physical counterparts. Make them $5–10 cheaper, and I promise you no one would have anything to say about it. But Nintendo doesn't really care what you guys are saying about it, because if so, they would have fixed this problem by now. Green Thunder 200 makes a perfect point. These things are just as physical as PS4 or PS5 physical games, but clearly they're worse because Nintendo is cringe now. Game key cards killed my grandma or something. I don't know. Y'all are silly if you're complaining about this. The reason that a lot of PS4 and PS5 games don't have everything on disc is because that disc has a 100 GB maximum, more than the 64 more Nintendo has, but still not enough for the games they're releasing today. So a lot of times they put a good chunk on the disc and then have you download the rest. That's just what game key cards are doing. But because it's Nintendo, it is like this evil thing, but it's like the industry has been doing this for years. It is a very normal thing. Please relax. Memes934 says, so apparently it was just confirmed via YouTube video Nintendo just released moments ago that Pokopia is a game keycard. Thanks, but I'll pass. And I think that's an issue. I think that if you're passing on a game you actually want to play just because it's a game keycard, that's a bit silly. It's still the game. You're not buying the game to like sniff it or hold it or lick it or whatever. You're buying the game to play it. So if you want to play the game, play the game. People who don't buy games that they're interested in, like I saw someone say that they didn't want the Metroid Prime 4 game, even though they have been waiting years for it because everything wasn't on cart with the Switch 2 version and you would have to like do the upgrade or download the Switch 2 updates or whatever. They said that because of that, they weren't gonna buy Metroid Prime 4. That's crazy. Are we playing games or are we licking cartridges? Come on, chat. Let's get back to the point. Let's bring it back. Adifying says, personally, I get why people don't like Switch 2 game key cards, but I also don't give a f. Some of y'all treat them things like they're fucking devil, man. At the end of the day, spend your money how you want to spend it. But villainizing game key cards is probably not the thing we want to be villainizing in this current gaming climate. It's tweets like these by King_Goomba. The Pokemon Pokopia game we've released worldwide on a despicable game key card. This is a disgrace, Nintendo. You are betraying all your fans. We must boycott this game. Bro, go touch grass. Like, it's not that serious. Witty Moore 103 says, listen Nintendo, if game key cards have to exist, could you at least change this ugly ass logo on the box art? That logo is foul. I hate that. That is probably the biggest turnoff for me for the game key cards. It's not the actual key cards, it's how you destroy the box art. The box art already is ugly. This just makes it 10 times worse. Direct Feed Game says, how long into the Nintendo Switch 2 generation will the game key card debate and topic of conversation last? It's been the same tired talking points since the system launch, and every take is the same boring one repeated ad nauseum. Chat, we understand. Game key cards are not as good as traditional physical. I understand that, I acknowledge that, but I really want this discourse to stop. Just play the games you want to play, pay for the games you want to pay for, and keep it pushing. If you have your own opinion about the game key cards that wasn't shared here, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. Also, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.